Hello, welcome to Montgomery's Kitchen. I'm James Anderson, going to be the chef today. Today we're going to be making the Bell's Spinach Pinwheel. It's one of my favorite meals, real easy to make. All you need is a bread pan, an oven, some spaghetti sauce, and of course the pinwheels from Bell's. Okay, so let's get started. Here we have a pork butt. It comes off the front shoulder of a side of pig, pork, however you would say that. Anyhow, this is the proper way to bone out a pork shoulder. What we're trying to do is get a piece out of the center of this. It's really tender. It makes the best pinwheel. So I'm just scoring it and taking the meat off the top of the shoulder, and then you're going to want to take the edge of your knife or just the tip and work your way along the outside of it, like so. Now we're going to be working along the outer edge of the bone, and we're going to flip it up. Score the inside of it, just so we can get our knife in there and come around that bone there. The blade bone comes back into the pork shoulder and then back around. So you want to be careful where your knife is pointing. Always cut away from yourself. There is a few parts where you can get caught doing this, just mostly because your knife is coming back towards you. But anyhow, we're going to go around the outside of that bone, back down in. See, I'm pulling away the bone from the pork there, and then our cuts from earlier make it easy for that to just come right out. Now that we have the pork out of the bone, we're going to be focusing on what we call the city chicken. It's that real lean piece of meat right in the center of it. It's very nice because it has a whole lot of marbling, and it takes a little bit of practice to get all of it out of the pork shoulder. Right now I'm just kind of scoring the top and separating the fat from that piece and just following the outside edge. You want to be careful you don't cut too far into it, or you lose some of the yield, and you're going to need all of that for when it goes through the cuber later on. And right now I'm just working on the underside of it, trying to separate it some more, and just real shallow cuts until we can get it fully removed. Okay, now that we have our city chicken removed, we're going to discard the rest of that pork shoulder, and we'll use that for sausage later on. Nothing goes to waste around here. So now we're just trimming up the city chicken piece. Some of that excess fat we won't need, so time to get rid of it. And that'll go in the sausage bucket as well. Now that we've got our city chicken mostly trimmed up, what we're going to do next is we're going to fillet this almost the entire way in half. You don't want to cut the entire way through just because it'll fall apart. You want to be careful and make sure that you're making an even cut so that both sides kind of flip open like two sides of a book. So using my hand, keeping it kind of flat so I can see how my cuts are. My knife is almost parallel to the butcher block there as well. So just making real slow cuts until we get it to fold in half, just like a book. Now that we have a nice piece of city chicken, let's go to the cuber. Alright, almost forgot too. We need some mozzarella cheese, some really nice stuff here. That piece I'll probably snack on a little bit later. But we got 4 nice slices of mozzarella cheese, and we're gonna bring this over to the butcher block. Okay, now we have our nicely tenderized piece of city chicken. We're gonna season this bad boy. And what we use here at Bell's is the Oak Grove Creole seasoning salt. It's just an excellent blend of salt, pepper, garlic salt, onion salt, and it's got a touch of cayenne. Nothing too spicy, I use it on everything. Potatoes, vegetables, eggs, every morning, but it's good. Now that we've seasoned it, we're gonna put some our mozzarella cheese down, and the next best thing to do is throw our spinach on it. Pretty good handful. It's gonna cook down a little bit when you're throwing it in the oven, so you want to have more than enough. Now to get this thing to hold together, we're gonna use some butcher twine, and another thing you can use while I'm running around trying to find them, only to realize they were right where I'm at. Hello. We can use skewers as well. And most of the time, that's what we use. They're just easy. Once you're done cooking, you can pull them right out. But I'm going to show you the butcher knot as well a little bit later. Now, what I do, I just try and roll up some of the pork and then just kind of keep rolling like a giant pastry or burrito or even a doobie, if you will. But we want to get all that spinach nice and tucked in there. Try and keep all the mozzarella cheese underneath, and then once you get it rolled up, I'm going to take a skewer. Most of the time I'll take 2 of them and have it so that's all that is holding it together. Now we're going to get some of our butcher twine, and I'm going to show you the butcher's knot. Now, Grandpa Bell always said, you know, you have a rabbit, goes around the tree and up through the hole and on the other side and up through another hole, and then you just cinch it up, throw a half hitch in there, and boom, butcher's knot. Easy as that. Now, another important thing you want to pay attention to is when you're getting ready to tie your second string, you want to leave yourself enough space so that you can take a knife and cut right through the middle and not go through your string. So here I am just making sure that I got plenty of space, that, you know, I should have 2 pinwheels when this is all done. And all that knot is just tying 2 knots on either side and then doing a half hitch and pulling it. And nice thing about those knots, they're not coming undone once you get them. So we're going to take our skewer out, grab our knife, cut in half, and see what the finished product looks like. Once again, another beautiful Bell's pinwheel. Now I'm going to be using a 9 by 13.5 Pyrex dish. You can use whatever. And I always use the wild game flavored meat vodka sauce. It's excellent, you know. Use this on the stuffed peppers I'll probably be doing next week. Spaghetti and meatballs, even just meat sauce. You can't beat it. But anyhow, we're just going to use a little bit of this in the bottom of the pan, if I can get it open. There we go. And we're just going to spread some out using our pinwheel so that they won't stick, you know. It's easier than using non-stick. Just a simple little trick. But, yep, so you spread that around a little bit, and then we're going to use the rest of our sauce. So we don't want to waste any of that goodness. Add some spinach there added as well. But, yep, put the rest of the sauce on top. Make sure to get every last drop out of there. And once we get it all out of there, I'm just going to take a knife or spatula and just kind of spread it out. And that's going to go and flavor the spinach as well. Make sure that nothing really dries out. And the next trick we're going to do is I'm going to cover it. And what I use is, like, you can use toothpicks, but a couple of those skewers from before, I'll just run down the center of each pinwheel, and then I will take some foil and cover it. And meanwhile you're doing all this, or at least preparing your pan, it's a wise idea to get your oven started and running at 350. So when it's time to cook, it's already preheated, and all you have to do is throw them in the oven. Now we're just going to tuck our pinwheels in for a little aluminum foil nap. And you can see that the skewers are helping, you know, it just makes like a little tent over top of them so they're not going to burn to the foil. Now we're just throwing them in our oven. That's been preheated to 350. It should run for about an hour and 15 minutes. Meanwhile, while that's cooking, we're going to get a big pot of water going, and we're going to put this water right on the stove, and this is going to be for our spaghetti noodles. I start mine here a little bit early. You can wait till about 15 minutes before the pinwheels are going to be done. I like to at least have it boiling so that when it gets to a rolling boil, I can just throw my spaghetti noodles, or I think I'm using linguine here. I'm only going to use half bag, you know, just me eating, so that should be plenty. And it only takes about 10-12 minutes for this to finish cooking. Let's check out our pinwheels. It's been about 45 minutes to an hour since we threw these in the oven last. What I like to do here is just get the foil off of them and check them, make sure they're cooking well. If they need a little extra time, you can always add more. Here I'll uncover it just so that they get a nice crisp on them when it's ready to plate them. We have our al dente pasta, and the pinwheels, an extra 15 minutes did them wonderful. So we're just gonna do what we do here at Bell's, and a little old-fashioned plating on some styrofoam trays that we use for the meat. And I'm scraping up some of the mozzarella cheese that's melted out, and a little extra sauce, you know. Don't like to waste anything here. Just look at the steam rolling off those pinwheels. Those things are delicious. Anyhow, now that we've gotten pretty much all the juice and the spaghetti sauce and cheese off the plate, we're gonna put this over top of some noodles and try and get a glamour shot. It's not as pretty as I was hoping for, but man, I'll tell you what, it makes up for it in taste. Now that we've got it in our final pitcher, we're gonna go ahead and take that string off of there. Kind of had a tough time getting that off there. Forgot once you bake it, those can get embedded into the pork, and it's pretty tough to mess with, and you definitely don't want to chew on that after you've spent the last hour and a half cooking this beautiful pinwheel. So most of the time, that's why I use skewers. You can even take those out prior to baking, and the string as well. But let's get a final taste of our beautiful Bell's spinach pinwheel. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you feel Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Gonna be doing more cooking shows like this constantly, so make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Follow button's even cooler, because then you know when I'm putting out a new episode. Next week, planning on stuffed peppers. It's another staple, one of Grandpa Bell's favorite meals. If you have any questions or concerns or whichever, just feel free to comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you try the recipe, definitely let me know how it turned out for you guys. And thanks for watching. Enjoy.